Hello, welcome Whovians to my channel. I'm planning on doing reviews of the various Doctor Who episodes and adventures, and I'm going to begin with the first Doctor, William Hartnell, who graced the screens in 1963, late 1963, and went right through for another 4 years? Lots of episodes, 40 odd episodes a year. There's only a few weeks when it wasn't on, and then they showed repeats. So all these stories are worth a watch, and I've been watching other reviews and tier lists and so on, and I wonder if I could come up with a top 10 William Hartnell 10 out of 10 stories. Some of them might be stronger than others. Maybe one of them's a 9.5, which I'll come to later, and one of them's more than 10. And I'd like, first of all, to apologise for not including your favourite. This is entirely my ranking, my opinion. They're the ones that I prefer. Thing to remember about 60s Doctor Who is there's a lot to forgive when you're watching them. And I'll make some remarks about that as I go along. There was a very low budget. The whole thing was done in monochrome. There's no colour TV then. And the sets were wobbly and so on. And they didn't have much, there wasn't much studio space for the actors to work in. But anyway, I'll start with the first one. They're more or less in order of transmission, these. I might have got a few of them the wrong way around. I suppose someone will perhaps correct me about that. But I'm going to start with the first Doctor Who adventure, which is An Unearthly Child, and I've got it in a box set there, entitled collectively The Beginning, which has An Unearthly Child, The Daleks, and The Edge of Destruction, fully retained and restored tapes. I do have others which may have made it onto this list, and I apologise for not having the Dalek Masterplan on it. I've apologised for not having the Dalek Invasion of Earth on it. Of course, it's one of the very best Doctor Who stories, but I thought the programme was a bit, I think there was restrained by schedule timetables, and I think it was not quite as well done as it could be. But if it wasn't for the Peter Cushing film, in which Peter Cushing played the Doctor, in the film Dalek Invasion of Earth, which is in full colour, which was much better, it may have made this list anyway. And there are some others that didn't quite make it on the list, but I think they're 10 out of 10. There's the War Machines, for example, and the animated Galaxy 4, the colour animated Galaxy 4, which recently got on sale. The Chase is also great. I've not included that either because I've got other videos that I think are better. So, An Unearthly Child. Now, this gets criticised. The first episode is, of course, brilliant, superb. It establishes the show. It's a revolutionary concept. But then the following three parts have been criticised for being not so good. But I challenge you to find a better prehistoric or caveman adventure anywhere than this. It has everything. It has the sociological structure. It has primitive religion, the importance of fire. It's a good adventure. The Doctor and his companions are in trouble, and they manage to escape in the end, of course. There's also the place of women in society. All this exposition by, I think it was Dennis Spooner, is to me, it's top-rate stuff. Doctor Who was blessed throughout its career with genius. Verity Lambert was a genius, William Hartnell was a genius, and they even had genius designers. And the next one, the Daleks, as the most cutting-edge design of them all, of course, the Dalek creature, a mutant encased in metal after a neutronic war. Daleks, otherwise known as the Dead Planet, otherwise known as the Mutants. There is something to forgive on this. A handful of Thals invading the Dalek city. A handful of Thals do not an army make, and I think it's obvious that they wouldn't have stood a chance in real life, if you can call science fiction setting real life. But if you think that this was aimed primarily at children, a child imagination, I mean, they would see thousands of Thals invading the Dalek city. By implication, lack of actors and extras, I suppose. The next one is a brilliant drama, and it suddenly becomes very adult. The Edge of Destruction. Edge of Destruction. There we are. Edge of Destruction. Two-parter psychological drama, which also goes into the nature of the TARDIS, which even this early on is seen as having a life of its own, a theme which would, of course, be reintroduced and expanded later in the show, particularly in the new show, the reboot, the Russell T. Davies reboot, another genius, Russell T. Davies. But this drama is every bit the modern drama. The frayed relationships and tensions and distrust of the time-travelling companions. Right, I'll go on to the next one. The Keys of Marinus. Keys of Marinus. Well, this is one that may just be a 9.5. Because it does plod a little at times, but on the whole, I think I would have it as a 10 because it has multiple interesting settings as the Doctor and his companions travel around this planet Marinus, looking for the keys to the conscience of Marinus, and there are contrasting settings and interesting ideas like the Morpheus idea, in which the rulers of this city keep people under control by controlling their minds, making them think that everything is rosy, when actually it's not, which reminds me of the contemporary government at the moment. But anyway, and there's an adventure in the snowy mountains with wolves, and one with a screaming jungle in which these living plants invade this house, and the last two parts comprise a really great detective story, I think, in which Ian is framed for murder, and the Doctor has to use all his intelligence to clear him. He takes on the role of his lawyer. Right, so that's that. I haven't seen, by the way, I can't rank Marco Polo. I've never experienced it, but I've heard it's very good. And also not experienced The Massacre in any way, shape or form. I've heard that's bad. But the next one is a very good historical, and it is the Aztecs. Another great drama. Doctor Who throughout his career has been very much guided by actors doing their utmost. There are some great actors and great acting throughout the show. This one has Barbara's journey, in which she's mistaken for a goddess by the Aztecs, and has to struggle against the ego inflation that necessarily implies, and of course with the Doctor's help and the rest of the crew's help, she sees sense. Of course, she's trying to change history, which the Doctor sternly warns her against. She wants to stop the human sacrifices, but in any case, great story. The Aztecs. This gets a lot of praise, and rightly so. Another historical, The Reign of Terror. All sorts of political intrigue. There's an English spy in the French Revolution that the time travelers get caught up in, and the Doctor impersonates a visiting dignitary in order to attempt to rescue Ian and Barbara from prison, awaiting the guillotine. This is also very well enacted. Some of the episodes restored, and the rest of the episodes are animated, which is a great tradition of Doctor Who, which I enjoy a lot in recent times. Animation of lost episodes. BBC wiped far too many tapes in the 60s. Excuse me. Next one. Another historical, The Romans. Another great story, in which the TARDIS crew are kind of trapped on Earth, but they're enjoying a nice holiday during the early AD centuries, I think, time of Nero. I've got this in a box set with The Rescue, which is one of the weaker stories, I think, but I won't go into that. But Vicky and the Doctor are really great in The Romans. They get separated from Ian and Barbara, and Ian has to work as a galley slave. Barbara goes to Rome and just misses the Doctor and Vicky, who go to Rome. And there's one interesting bit where William Hartnell actually sort of brings down this Roman centurion or guard in a series of really tricky moves, and which is a surprise. He was always full of surprises. He's been described as an old man, crotchety, and sometimes frail, but sometimes showing great bursts of energy, and he does on this. And he tricks Nero into thinking that he's playing music that only he can hear, Nero being full of himself, being divine and everything. But actually he's not playing anything. He impersonates the kind of court musician. But the hand-to-hand combat part is something which was kind of revived in the John Pertwee era, and John Pertwee describes his skill as Venusian Aikido or karate, and of course there's none of that with William Hartnell. There isn't much jargon, technical jargon, not much technical jargon. Things are described more poetically. to do with the TARDIS and time and so on. That, excuse me, need a drink. So another cracking story there, another 10 out of 10. The next one is a quasi-historical in which the Doctor meets one of his own race, which apart from Susan we have never seen before. The meddling monk and the time meddler, and the crew land in 1066. This time the companions are Stephen Taylor, played by Peter Purves, and Maureen O'Brien playing Vicky. And of course this time meddler is also, which what Barbara attempted to do earlier, trying to change history for his own devious ends, mostly profit. He's trying to destroy the Viking fleet before the Battle of Stamford Bridge, which would of course lead to William the Conqueror being defeated and Harold Godwinson remaining on the throne. But and the Doctor gives him a good talking to and traps him in the end by removing part of his TARDIS. It's the first time you see another TARDIS other than the Doctor's. Right, so that's the time meddler. Next one is the big one, possibly the greatest ever Doctor Who, and it only exists in audio form. The Dalek Masterplan, including Mission to the Unknown, which is a preamble to it. The only episode that doesn't include the Doctor or any of the TARDIS crew. It's a 12-part story. And of course the Pepperpots are meddling with time again, which is a theme which crops up throughout the history of the show. And of course, in the end, there's a huge time war in which the Daleks find the Time Lords and attack the Doctor's home planet, Gallifrey. And that causes all sorts of alternate timelines and problems with reality and so on. But in this, they're building a machine which will reverse time and reduce everything to a kind of embryonic form, or form of dust, of burning hydrogen or whatever there was in the past. And they need this terrenium stuff. And the story of Mavic Chen, who's the traitor, who wishes to set himself up with the Daleks as the ruler of the cosmos. And it's riveting. And Kevin Stoney, I think it's Kevin Stoney, he's great as Mavic Chen. He played Tobias Vaughan later in the Patrick Troughton story, The Invasion. He makes a great villain. Of course, the Daleks couldn't give two hoots for the deal, and eventually, as the story goes on, they have no longer any use for him, and they kill him. And the look of astonishment, I've seen a clip from this, and the look of astonishment on his face when they do it, it's a great bit of acting. Excuse me. Right. So there we have it. The Dalek Masterplan, possibly the best Doctor Who ever, a contender, definitely. None of the Hartnell stories I've seen have been absolute stinkers, though some people would disagree. They've all been watchable. Now, but that's one of the best ones ever. Now, the next one I've chosen is the Ark. Now, I nearly chose the War Machines above this, which is another 10 out of 10 in my book. But I chose this one because it is so neatly done. It's a 4-parter, and it has this great plot device. The travellers arrive on the Ark, which is in the distant future, millions of years in the future, in which the remnants of humanity are fleeing a dying world. And when they arrive, the the people are building a huge statue, which will take them 700 years to complete, because they're doing it by hand, more or less. It's going to be a statue of a man, a huge statue of a man. And they have with them the monoids, who are a completely alien race, but who are friendly with the humans, and the humans have brought them on this journey because they needed help. Now, when the Doctor leaves, having cured the cold, which Dodo's got a cold. Jackie Lane's the actress. Dodo's got this cold, and it infects the population of the Ark, and some of them die even because of no resistance to the common cold in the future. The virus was completely wiped out centuries before. The Doctor finds a cure for the cold, and then they leave. But when they return, they leave at the end of the second part. When they return, they've merely moved forward 700 years, and the Ark is about to arrive at the new planet Refusis 2. And when they see the statue, completed statue, instead of a man's head, it has a monite's head, and the monites have taken over. They've had a revolution and taken over, and they were treating the humans as slaves. And so the rest of the story involves the Doctor and Stephen and Dodo foiling the monoids' plan. And the monoids I think they're taking some of the humans, they leave most of them on the Ark, and they flip down to the planet in these travel capsules, which look a bit naff. Another thing to forgive, really. They're wobbly things, obviously on wires, little models on wires, but there you have it. It's little travel capsules. And they mean to explode the Ark, killing all the humans that are left, with a bomb that they've hidden in the head of the statue. And of course no one knows where it is, except the monoid. But the inhabitants of Refusis, who are invisible and powerful, help by, once it's discovered where the bomb is, they use their powers to lift up the huge statue and pull it out into space, where it explodes harmlessly. So in the end, I don't know whether there are any of the monoids left. I think some of them went against the others. They had a disagreement, kind of civil strife. But in the end, anyway, everything's sorted, and the humans are free to settle on Refusis. So that's it. I'm sorry for not including 10th Planet, just some great moments, but the Cybermen were so naff on it. They vastly improved on the moon base later, and Invasion, of course, and the Tomb of the Cybermen. But although it's a great story, the 10th Planet, these guys are just stood there in stockings, speaking in sing-song voices, which are quite eerie. The voices are eerie enough. They're annoying to many people. Right. So that's my top 10, I think. Let's see if we've got any other ones that I haven't mentioned. I've mentioned them all, I think, all my top 10. Next time I do a review of Doctor Who, I'm going to tackle the Patrick Troughton era. So, this is Sherwin saying bye-bye, and happy watching to all the Whovians out there, and anyone else who's interested. Bye-bye.